What's up everybody, this is Connor with Chamber One Tactical. Today's video is actually going to be about the Kimber R7 Mako carbon fiber compact. This video is going to be structured around the questions that you guys actually had on some of the comments. So as you guys see, we've got some guns laid out here today that we're going to be comparing the size to, because this gun's kind of a mixture of all these different compact guns that we have on the market right now. So we're going to do a little shooting, and then Joshua's actually going to talk about the performance of this little micro comp that we're going to be testing out on this gun. So let's chamber one. So I can definitely feel that comp working, and you guys can probably see all the smoke that's coming out of this thing. So let's go over here real quick and check out the size of this gun. So the first gun that we're going to compare to is actually for the Glock 19 size comparison is going to be the Shadow Systems MR920. This gun is clear. So this gun does have a mag well on it as well. So I figured this would be a good one to do a size comparison. So as you guys can see, putting the slides back up together, your size on the slide is actually pretty much the exact same. The thickness may be a little bit thinner on the actual Kimber. And then if you look on the actual frame back here, the frame is going to be a little bit longer than like a Glock 19. So you will have a little bit sticking out there at the bottom, and they are the same exact mag capacity. Then you got this is going to represent, right now we've got the XL slide on here, but it is the X macro frame. So this is going to represent a P365X macro. So if you look at this gun on here, it is going to be, if we line up these slides together, it is going to be a little bit shorter. The X macro is, the Kimber is going to be a little bit longer, and the frames are going to be almost identical as far as length. You know, the Kimber maybe having a little bit more just because of that mag well. And then the thickness is the main thing we wanted to talk about on the P365. They're going to be a lot more similar in the actual thickness of the gun as opposed to like the Glock 19. So then we're going to move on to a baby gun. This is getting closer to like a pocket size gun. The Canik, what is this, the MC9, Joshua? So we have the Canik MC9. So this gun compared to the Kimber is going to be a baby. So lining up the slides there, I mean, you're going to have a good, you know, about inch on the front and maybe a ½ inch on the frame. So this gun is going to be a good bit bigger than getting closer to like your subcompact and micro, you know, pocket gun. And then the last gun we've got is a Palmetto State micro dagger. So this is going to represent, you know, your Glock 43X, the micro dagger. So again, this is going to be a Glock 19 size gun, but we are getting the thickness down. So, you know, putting these guns up together, the frame and everything, again, the frame's just going to be a little bit longer than the Glock. The thickness, as you can see, is going to be very similar. And then the actual slide is going to be almost the exact same size. So, you know, the size of the Kimber, you know, it's going to be very, very similar to what you're going to see in any other gun. The main thing that I see, if you guys want to just look at these guns, the main difference I see is going to be the actual stippling of this gun. So the texture that you're getting on this gun, in my opinion, is superior to all these guns up here. They put a lot of effort into the stippling on this thing, the texture. It's in all these different places. You know, the Shadow System's the only one that I can really say is comparable in frame because you have that shelf on both guns. So it is, you know, it's got a lot of features that you would typically see on more of a full-size gun. And I know, you know, this gun is getting into the compact size. So, you know, you're expecting a little bit more on the frame. You're expecting a little bit more because you're able to get more of a hold on this gun. So I think they did a good job. But I will point out, too, that as far as I understand, this is the only fully ambi gun up here. So out of the lineup that we chose, and these were all guns that, except for the Canik, that you guys asked to see a comparison of, you know, this is the only gun that's the full ambi. You've got your mag release is fully ambi, and you have your slide release is the exact same on both sides. So this is a fully ambi gun with great texturing and, you know, a little bit of a mixture of all the different gun sizes put together. So a very interesting gun. So let's see what Joshua has to say.
All right, what's up, guys? Another thing that we saw some comments on was, do they have a compensated version of this new Kimber? As of right now, we have not seen that, but what they do have is a threaded barrel option, and that's what me and Connor have. So We did go ahead and throw on one of these Strike Industries micro comp, and we were excited to see how this performed with a little compensator, because it seems like a lot of the competition have built-in compensators, but we'll see how this little one does. So let's shoot it real quick. All right, guys, so we have shot this gun quite a bit. We haven't had any major malfunctions on this firearm. We did notice just shooting it just now that the slide didn't lock back on the last round. You know, that was a little bit surprising, but we haven't seen that until just now. But just some shooting experience with this firearm. Even before we put the compensator on here, the recoil is just really low and really soft shooting compared to a lot of the other guns in this size. I think most of that has to do with the actual ergonomics and the texture of the grip. Just allows you to really wrench on it, and then these little indentions allow you to use your thumb to wrench down on this firearm as well. So especially putting on a little compensator like this makes it shoot extremely well. So this is a great little firearm. Me and Connor have enjoyed shooting it. We appreciate the overall reliability, except for the, maybe the slide not locking back, and we think it's a great option for someone that wants to carry something that is maybe not as budget, but shoots really, really well.
All right, so the last thing we want to discuss is actually the trigger on this gun, because as you guys know, for me and Joshua, that's one of the most important things that we could talk about on a gun. So comparing it to some of the guns that we just showed you on the size comparison, like the Shadow Systems, the X Macro, the Canik MC9, and the Micro Dagger, this trigger is different. It's different in the way that all those guns that we just showed you all have take-up, and it's almost a very minimal amount of take-up as far as the actual weight that you're pulling back. Whereas this gun, your take-up, there is really none, in my opinion. Your finger is there, and as you start pulling the trigger, it goes off. So I would consider this more of a trigger that just rolls into its break. It's not something that has a very crisp break, where you again have that take up where there's little to no pressure, you come up to that wall and then it breaks. This is going to be one of those triggers that it kind of reminds me, I know Joshua thinks the same thing, of the Hellcat. The Hellcat Pro, where the trigger really just rolls into the actual break. So it's not a bad trigger per se, it's just something that's different than a lot of the other guns that are out there on the market. So again, you've got your trigger, you've got that little dingus is what they call that. You got your dingus there, you just start pulling, it rolls off, your reset, clicks right there, and you're right back into the trigger. So again, it's not a bad trigger, it's actually something that I found was actually enjoyable to shoot. It's just one of those things you got to train a little bit with to understand where that trigger is going off, and it's just just a little different compared to some of the other guns you may see out there. So really enjoyed doing this review for you guys. If you have any questions, let us know down in the comment section. Make sure you guys subscribe, because that is the main way to help out our channel, and always remember to chamber one.